order. Any public comment, Jeanette?
No.
Any additions to the agenda?
I'm not.
We have two sets of minutes to approve because
I forgot to bring them last month.
right.
Send them last
We
month.
didn't, they weren't attached, so we have the 12-2 minutes to make sure we are correct.
And I have who was in attendance at each, so if you want to make separate motions, then we can say who's got to abstain.
Okay. First, let me know if there's anyone that sees anything that needs to be corrected.
Oh, I had a correction. On one of them.
These are the ones
Yes,
from January.
so I had a
This
correction
is December.
on January, so we'll get to that when we get to
December second.
January.
That was in here in January.
I'm gonna do that
No,
one.
it's not right yet.
December looks
December
fine.
2nd?
December 2nd, absent was Jen, Alex, Viviana, and Erin.
Yes.
So I can make a motion to accept it since I was here.
And I'll second.
And Arnie's here,
Great.
and he can vote on the December 2nd minutes.
Okay. So Lauren made the motion. And Pat.
Jeanette, I
Second.
wasn't here the first January 1st, right?
You were at,
Sixth.
no,
You were not.
You were not, right.
Okay, hold on. So
We're
I
doing-
abstained for
We're doing
this one.
December, right?
we're doing December, Viv, Alex,
We have a first and a
Erin.
Uh,
And Jen's not here, abstained. Okay. Did you abstain, or do we have a vote?
We didn't vote yet. I wanted to
Okay.
make sure that there wasn't a correction before we said all in favor. Okay, those who were present, very good, and we'll take a look at the January 6th next, our last month's meeting. And Janet, Viviana, Pat,
Abstain.
were out.
I have a correction on the January 6th minutes, and that is just on the signature, accepted and approved this day of. It says 2024, and it should
Oh,
say
I got that.
2025,
Mhm.
so with correction.
All right, I'll make a motion to accept January 6th minutes. Erin will second. All in favor? Unanimous? Good.
And on the January 6th, just to be clear, Janet, Viv, Pat.
Yep.
Abstain. Got it.
All right, and the next
Thank
piece of
you.
business is the presentation of the operating budget. And I personally want to thank all of you that came out. It was a wonderful showing of support. I dare say that I don't think any other commission probably had that level of support behind us. And Jeanette did a fabulous job.
Truly, it was
It was
fabulous.
great.
Every question, right on,
Yeah.
and, response, a really good one, and
We spent lots of hours together to prepare. So it was a team effort, and God, it was just so empowering to turn around and see all of you there. Just, I felt really like we came from a position of strength. And you know the process. Beecher has come in rather high. I'm sure they wouldn't appreciate me saying that. But, higher than usual. And our portion, because our population has gone up while Orange has gone down, of Amity makes us at like 7.9% for our portion. And these are not several $100,000 budgets. These are millions, 20 millions, of budgets. So we have to live with the process. And as I said in my report, hope springs eternal. We'll hope for the best. We did the best we could.
Next step is,
Preliminary budget hearing in April,
you'll
and
let us know.
I will let you know. I looked at the website, I didn't see a date yet, but it's usually like the third Monday or something like that.
Good.
are you able to share what happened at personnel and
I can, I have personnel in my report,
then we'll
Yeah.
wait,
so we'll wait for
okay,
that,
we'll wait for that.
if you don't mind.
Very good, all right, are you gonna present your services?
Sorry, I'm wearing a couple of hats.
Yes.
So I asked Lainey to put some words together about the winter paint party. The youth services director is still on medical leave, FMLA, and with no set return date at this moment. But the winter paint party had great attendance. Parents are rather last minute with signups, but it all worked out. And she brought in a per diem person who helped her with drop off and pickup, which really helped because our child protection policy, you can't be alone with these kids, especially since this program was K through 3. The biggest complaint that was received was that people who had SIBs, kids, you know, in 3rd grade, but 5th grade also couldn't send both kids. And so, you know, we are gonna do another program probably soon for that, you know, 4th to 6th grade. It's just for the art teacher themselves to be dealing with kindergartners and 6th graders, it's just not the same cohort, so, but it went really well. And I was pleased that Lainey ran such a nice program. Valentine cupcake decorating, it's not selling. Right now, she's put up signs in the building, it's been on the announcements, there's a sign outside the building for parents to see, it's been in the Facebook pages, it's been in the newsletter for parents. This is a middle school event, and there's still only one sign up. And the last time we ran that program didn't fare well too. I think we had to cancel it. My thoughts, and you guys can just ruminate on this at your own time, is that eventually we should be moving our programming to a younger age group, where parents still control their activities and want them to participate in these, you know, social and cultural and educational programs and fun things. We might really consider moving back from the middle school and going to Beecher for a lot of our programming. It's just, you
Gonna
know,
suggest that. I mean, for some of the programs, that might be a better fit for little ones.
yeah,
Like, I would do it with my little girls, but my son would not wanna go and decorate cupcakes at that age, you know?
right.
The middle schoolers are more, I think, likely to do something that's school sponsored,
Yes.
you know, the clubs or, you know, go watch a basketball
Yep.
game, you know, after school, you know, that the school teams play. So I think that they may be growing out of, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of activity that's
Yeah,
not
I
school-based.
I spoke with the community services director in Seymour today. We were talking a little bit about these things, and because she also runs rec, so what they've been doing, especially with the rec portion of things, is what our rec sometimes does too successfully, and that's hire teachers. Instead of hiring an outside contractor, give a teacher an opportunity to earn a few extra bucks. Kids already have a relationship with that teacher. The teachers are excited about teaching it, so they're talking it up in school, you know, and that might be a better opportunity if we could find a teacher who wanted to teach one of these classes, then we'd have sort of an in, and so I've made plans to go and meet with her and learn more about what they're doing and get a few more ideas.
And then it feels like a school activity for the kids.
Right, which answers what,
Yeah.
you know, you guys were saying. And then just as far as job bank is concerned, because Nancy's been out, we had Lainey and Sue sort of take it over. They did a couple of interviews with new kids, and one kid actually got a good job. Somebody wanted old letters which were written in cursive to be transcribed into, you know, Word files. And so the kid had to know how to read cursive and be, you know, tech savvy enough to, you know, put this stuff in. So it was kind of a good, I loved it. And I think the resident is happy. So that's youth services. I don't really have anything else, because right now, other than the MOU.
If there's any leftover frosting, I'll take it.
If they purchase it and we don't have the program, I'll bring it here.
That's really good that they do to reach out to youth services though for that
Right,
job. I mean,
right.
It's a very specific job.
Right. A retired principal, and we've known him here for a while, so very nice. I just wanted to mention the MOU, memorandum of understanding, that we've been actually asking town attorney from the last town attorney we asked for this to be approved, and since that time, we never got it approved, but since that time, CYSA had, Connecticut Youth Service Bureaus had created a new MOU based on new legislation that exists so that youth service bureaus can work with schools in a way that allows the schools to share data with youth service bureaus. So not, if we're helping, let's say Nancy's sitting on the truancy attendance committee, she wants to follow up on how the students are doing, she can't have that information. But now our current town attorney has approved the document. We've updated it with Woodbridge language because it was sort of a boilerplate. And I'll be sending that to both school systems, the superintendents, and then asking for a follow-up meeting to discuss and see how we can better work together. So it's exciting because, as Nancy said, no one knows how long we've been trying to do this.
That's nice.
But I think it's since 2022.
It was talked about even earlier than that, but.
Right. And it's more. I mean, Nancy does the after-school guided study program with grant dollars, and yet we can't follow up on whether these kids are improving or any of the actuals from what that money, invested that money into the program, what's happening with these kids. So it's kind of nice if we can follow up,
Yeah.
get more into that aspect of youth services.
Then you have data to follow, needs and trends, which is important. Anything else for youth services?
We hope Nancy
Motion?
comes back soon.
Yes, I hope so.
I'll make a motion to accept the December 2024 Youth Services Report.
So-
Is it Alex?
Yeah.
I'm going with Alex, she was louder.
She was louder. I think that might be it, but. All right.
So close,
I left a piece of my tongue on the floor.
We're gonna go on to Christie's report, but Christie, I thought, I know you're gonna go over some of, these events, but I thought I might just pass around the flyer that's, out in front that, because some of you aren't 55 and plus yet, so you may not see these. But this is available for people, to come take and,
They also get an e-blast.
And they get an e-blast.
Which has all the regular programming also besides, that's just
the
stuff that's-
highlights of
yeah,
February.
that's not the regular program. Thank you, Kathy. That's a
Okay.
good idea. So,
Oh, we didn't vote on youth services. All in favor? Thank you.
We did.
We didn't vote on,
No, we didn't.
Oh, we didn't vote, we made the motion.
I
wrote you that.
We didn't vote because I checked it off.
You like
We voted. I didn't check.
I was ready to raise my hand, and then we were just passing by the raise my hand part.
What would we do without Mary?
Spoken like a future chair.
okay. The coffee bar will be sponsored in February by Woodbridge residents Mike and Linda Zeller. So it's nice that we keep getting residents to do sponsorships as well as our agencies and businesses. The new session of Painting for Pleasure started, and we've had several new people that have joined the class this session, as well as many people from in the past. And the Beat the Blues luncheon we had 59 members in attendance, and that went really well. The Tai Chi Kwan program started on the 13th, and we had 31 members in total that registered between the two classes, which is at the max that we're allowed to have participate through the grant. On January 13th, we had one-on-one, one-to-one tech help that was provided by Amity High School Elder Helpers Group. They helped, there's 2 of those members that came over and helped 3 of our members, and they provide the one-to-one support, which is really nice, and everybody gets a lot out of it and feels like it really helped, and they can come back after they try those things. And they're coming back again on February 10th, the Elder Helpers Group. On January 15th, we had our Cocoa and Canvas. That was provided by the Beecher Road School Student Council. And our art instructor, Carol Abate, couldn't do the instructing, so Liz Smolinski, who I guess works in several areas of town, including Beecher, she filled in, and so she guided 29 students and 10 of our members through a snow owl painting, which was a lot of fun. And it was, I think that's the quietest I've ever heard the center for an hour and a half. But the students were, I thought maybe they fell asleep because they were so quiet, but then they were interacting, and yeah, it was really nice. And then they had pizza afterwards together. And on, I don't have the date, last Thursday, we had our Lunch and Learn on Aquatic Birds of Connecticut with Tom Kosterko from Companion Home Care. We had 42 people attend that, and we got good feedback on that. Coming up in February, we're having what is being called a pop-up presentation by ILR, which is the Institute for Learning and Retirement. I thought on my side that this wasn't going forward. I talked about it from somebody from ILR about having a presentation this week, and I thought it wasn't confirmed, but on their end they thought it was. So I found out today that they were planning on giving it, so I sent an email blast out, and I've already heard back from about 6 people in like an hour, so we're going to see what happens. And if we at least get 10 people, then
When's it gonna be?
on Wednesday at 10.
Yeah.
And the library is doing something similar next month, so at least the word will get out about ILR, and people who can't make it, we can send them to the library or provide more information. On February 20th, Danielle Ramos from Milford Health and Rehabilitation Center will provide, I skipped something, but anyway, she will still provide brain games. After the pizza lunch, she provided it once before in December, and people really enjoyed it. She just does trivia that's based on that month in history, basically. So there could be entertainment or historical facts, and everyone really had a good time, and it spawned different conversations from just remembering these events in the past. And going a little backwards, on February 6th, this Thursday, we're going to have a lunch and learn on habits for a healthy brain that will be given by Live Well. We already have 60 people registered for that. It's a hot topic. And Amston Home Transition Solutions will provide the lunch for that.
Wow.
Yeah, very generous. And then just in some other updates, it's good that we got the new car, because the other SUV has been out of service for several weeks. And we're waiting for the town mechanic to find time to look into it, to see what's wrong.
And first thing today, I heard that there was a recall on 2025 Subaru Foresters from another member of the staff, and come sit with us. Here. Yeah. And I was able to go to an automated site, enter your VIN, and popped up, there are 0 recalls on this item. But it was scary for a minute, because we're putting seniors in it, and
Yeah.
the recall is about tires falling off.
Oh.
So,
Really?
a tire, and it's not our car, so, but that was an
It's not.
aside, I'm sorry.
I'm at the end of a cold, so I'm just staying away from everything. I'm trying to. Indoor pickleball playtime, we're now offering during the morning time as well as in the afternoon. We had a situation where our aerobics and Tai Chi are being held down in the cafeteria for the time being, so we're utilizing that gym time that we usually have to offer to the pickleball players, which they're really enjoying. And it cuts down on the wait time in the afternoon play. Mahjong continues to increase in popularity. We had over 130 in attendance for the month and 22 in one day, which is a very big number for us. We continue to be without a coordinator or center or additional help in the center, but looking into some positives, so we'll wait for that. And then the utilization of Schedules Plus, which is our software that we use for a lot of different things, from transportation to attendance, we started to expand the use to include tracking of payments. So it will, it's a lot of work this month to get it in place, but going forward, it'll make it much more efficient. It's a lot easier once you have numbers in a software system to be able to pull them in different ways, rather than trying to make spreadsheets work and different spreadsheets work together. So that'll save a lot of time in the future. The non-resident membership fees, we've collected over $2,000 so far for, which is $25 fee per person. So it's about 78 plus people.
Did you receive any feedback? People?
Most people thought it was a very money well spent. The residents thought it was money very well spent for the non-residents.
Yes. But they're spending a little bit of money.
Yeah, and I make sure if anybody, there's been a couple people that have not been as positive, and that's what I remind them, the residents have been paying through their taxes, so. And there's only one person that was really a little bothered by it, but.
Out of 76. Okay.
Plus, yeah. And just to give you a heads up, next, either in the next month or two, Jeanette and I will be working on a further fee structure for non-residents, which will include like visitors or people who don't live in the area that may be visiting or something like that. So stay tuned, we'll have that information to you. That's it for me. Do you have any questions?
Non-residents, how does the number compare with last year?
How many non-residents there are?
Yeah.
Since we started doing the membership fee?
No, just, I'm sort of, if some people have decided not to come because of the membership fee, and therefore they just don't show up and our numbers have gone down.
I think it's too early to tell right now because it's
Okay.
only a month into it, and some people may not have participated in anything in January. They may do lunch and learns or specific things.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little too early to tell. There hasn't been the regular non-residents. Nobody has stopped coming who's a
Okay.
regular non-resident. And one of the things that we've discussed, even though it's not a policy or anything yet, is people can come and try whatever
Right.
one time, except for most likely like the really big lunches, like Thanksgiving,
The free big lunches.
Yeah.
you know.
Thanksgiving, holiday.
And also remember, it's January, and a lot of people are in Florida at this time of year, so we don't really see the full magnitude of it. But
Okay.
in general, I have to say this place, because it's so nice, it's just attracting more and more people.
It's been a non-event.
It's- yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fantastic.
like the 60, we have 60 already signed up, or 60 signed up for the Thursday lunch and learn, which
Wow.
is like our top number for lunch and learn. So
Yeah.
just
Okay.
the early feel of it, it doesn't seem to be impacted.
An interesting question would be, given how much of an increase we've had in total, is it proportional between residents and non-residents? Or we see more residents relative to non-residents? I think that would.
My
should
feel,
answer
and
the
I'm not
question.
looking at this but closely, but my feel is there's more of everybody.
Yeah.
So we had that question asked at the budget presentation. you know, and it still feels, you know, 2/3, 1/3 out of town people, but we're really getting more residents than we've ever had before. You know, in the old days, it was just a very small crew, and now, you know, this is just, right now, a very popular destination.
Yeah.
Can I ask a
Good.
question too? Do you know what other towns the residents are coming from? Do you have
Yes,
any
we have all
idea?
that, we have all that data.
Are you saying like you're
Like, you
wondering?
know, do you have from Orange, do you have them from New Haven,
Yeah.
Bethany?
So we get a lot of people from Westville, and the way they describe it, we almost live in Woodbridge. You don't pay Woodbridge taxes.
But there's a you know, a few from a lot of surrounding towns, and frequently it's like a relative even of somebody who lives in Woodbridge, somebody who used to live in Woodbridge,
Yeah.
that moved out and they lived here for decades, and you know, it's a way to still connect.
Yeah.
So it's a
Terrific.
variety, really.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering maybe by spring, you might be able to pull some of that data from Schedules
Right.
Plus.
I was going to tell Pat that I'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to analyze it.
As soon as we have
But it's
a
encouraging.
full-time
Yes.
assistant, because
That's why
my
I said
directive to her
yes.
is to do less right now.
Yeah.
Because
I
we
didn't
have
say
to,
tomorrow.
we have to cut down her hours, and so we are
She's
working.
in spring.
Yeah,
I said
we'll do that, but just if she doesn't get back to you right away, it's because of me. It's not because of her.
At some future meeting. June would be
January
good.
next year?
June,
No.
June would be good.
Any other comments or questions? You've had a chance to see the pink flyer for February, and thank you, Christie.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to accept the Woodbridge Center report. Take a second, Janet, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Thank you again. We'll go on to Human Services.
Yes, it's great to have Mika here, so welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. So just quickly with some programming that we've got, we had our blood drive last Friday. It was successful, 33, I think, in the end, donors that were successful. There were a couple that came and their hemoglobin was low, or they just weren't accepted. But we did very well, and they were very happy with the room. We had one like near miss with the room the day before. The gym circuit panel died. Died, and so they weren't sure if at that moment it was a surge and had just shut it down, or bad electricity, which I don't know what that means, or that the brand new feature had failed. So it was good. Everybody jumped in because I had this blood drive the next day, and the one factor you need with a blood drive is you need the room to be between 64 and 74 degrees. And so you can't mess around with, well, we'll bring in heaters or anything. The Peltier Construction brought in their outside contractor to take a look, because we still don't own the gym. It's not been turned over to us. We are not repairing anything because that project's not complete still, and that's sort
There's
of,
still a checklist of things?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and a disagreement between the architect and the engineers, and it's really over the roof and the warranty, and there's a bunch of things, but they don't affect our use of it daily. But it was affecting us because, you know, Brad and Bobby could not repair it. So they brought this guy in, and he said it was a 50-50 shot whether after he reset it, it would work. So we set up with the library. They were great. We could use them as a backup room. We set up with the Red Cross that we could use them as a location change. And it all worked out. The room was perfect in the morning. So it was, you know, problems averted. And we did well. We have two more coming. One is April 28th, and one is September 15th, I think. It's in my report?
Yeah, I
Probably is.
think so.
Yes.
I've read
Yes.
it earlier.
Okay. Vita starts tomorrow. We have limited the number of folks who could sign up for tomorrow just because Ellen's not here and she usually helps coordinate the VITA, so we're just gonna go at it tomorrow and hope that it works out well. I think we have 9 people coming in for appointments tomorrow, and then the appointments every Tuesday from 9 to noon through April 8th.
What is mine?
I'm sorry, volunteer income tax assistance.
Thank you.
And we do, in order to get a VITA site, we do people from any town, but we do have a lot of Woodbridge residents who participate.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so that starts tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. Judy and I completed a QPR training, question, refer, and persuade. Question, persuade, and refer. Suicide prevention training. It's, we take it every couple of years just to refresh our memory, but it is an evidence-based, very successful program, so I recommend it. This was free with our partners at BH Care and online, so it really was great, and I recommend it to you if you could find it.
familiar with that?
I have heard of it, and I'm also reading just looking.
Yeah.
But I have heard of it.
If people are interested in trainings that are available, I can send them out, if they're open to the public, I can send them out to the commission, and if people want to sign on to take them. I know that BH Care, they're doing at least 2 more of these. So I can find out about them and send it out, and there's no pressure, but if you want to participate, it really can only help if you run into somebody who might be giving you some sort of signal, and you might miss a cue of what they're trying to say, and this might help you see that my family would be better off without me kind of cue that you want to pick up on. Preaching to the choir, I know you know.
Yes, but I think that's important that if it is open to any commission members, on occasion, to let us know.
Yeah, I think that might be a great way to share this information. I wanted to bring up personnel. We had presented, as you know, I sent out an email, presented to the personnel committee. Mika was there, and Andrea Urbano and Sheila McCrevin and Tony Genovese, and Christy and Kathy and I were presented to them. They were kind enough to see what our message about a full-time staff member meant to this place. We were able to give them this
The data.
great
Yeah.
data that you've all seen that Christy put together. They approved the request, and last Thursday night we went to a special Board of Selectmen meeting where the full board voted to approve the position. Take a minute.
Yeah.
It's been years of working on this, thank you. And then Friday I got it out, the job description out to the CASP organization, Connecticut Association of Senior Service Providers, and I gave it to Karen Crosby today. She was out on Friday, and Christy was out on Friday, so today I got it to Indeed. I'm already getting resumes from other senior center directors, human services directors, so that worked. And Indeed, last I checked right before this meeting, there were 10 resumes. So, they're not all gonna be good, but, there's something to say that in numbers, there might be somebody, might be a gem. We're really looking forward to it. We are leaving it open for a month. We are leaving it open till March 4th, just because we want to cast the widest net. But we will start to interview during that process. So if we see a good one, we want to, snatch them up and try. Okay. just wanted to say one more time that you've heard it from Christy, and now it's my turn just to say that with staff shortages, it is becoming increasingly difficult to cover everything that we need to do. We haven't had Ellen since October 3rd, and Katie left right before Veterans Day in November, and Nancy's now been out since Christmas, and we're not sure when she's going to be able to come back. This makes it really difficult, but our temp, Sue, is doing a good job upstairs. She has other responsibilities. She's also a VITA volunteer, so now she's going to be giving full day Tuesday to VITA at Team in Derby, and we only have her about 16 hours a week. So we're, just want to mention it. The staff is working very hard.
We know and we appreciate it.
And I just want to say we had an Earth Day, pre-Earth Day meeting, and just to get everybody on board that this is a whole town event. And one of the great ideas that came up during that meeting, you might not think it's that great, but I think it's great, is to get the commissions involved. I happen to know that I probably won't be here on Earth Day. I'm hoping to go away for my birthday to Europe. And although I might be here that day, the trip is definitely that week. So I'm looking to find somebody who'd like to step up and be the human services representative, maybe a subcommittee to help out and arrange things. We generally do a tag sale that day on the front lawn. I don't know what Hillary wants us to do, but it's all about free cycling and recycling, and a tag sale sort of works, especially for seniors if they want to get rid of some stuff from their houses. So it would be non-staff. This is going to be work over the next few months, and I still won't have a staff over the next few months. So to get you guys to, whoever wants to, come to a meeting or be connected through email, just write me an email and let me know that you want to help out, or you want to be at least on the distribution list so that you can jump in when you're ready.
Janet, you can go ahead and I'm happy.
Oh, I knew it.
Thank you.
I'm just
Can you add my
Hillary
name?
and I are,
Okay.
Hillary and I are, yeah, good friends.
Oh,
All right, so we have 2 to lead a subcommittee. That sounds like. Tables, there'll be a process to order through tables.
Yeah.
You have plenty of time to
I'm
put
close with
together.
Hillary too.
All right. Yes, we
so
got it.
Erin,
Yeah.
Thank
yeah,
you
it's
for-
these young dynamic women. Can't get enough of it. It's contagious,
That's a team.
So that's Earth Day. I will send that to Hillary just to let her know as far as, what can be done for human services, whether it's the youth services portion of it, because youth services did their own thing and human services did the tag sale, which was for senior services. But already she's got, it's April and I know she already has too many hours.
Yes.
So.
26th?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, that's it from me, because the other things I put under the chairman's report.
Right, you can help me with those.
Uh-huh.
Any other comments or questions? I'll make a motion to accept the Human Services report.
I'll second.
Thank you, Viviana. All in favor?
All right.
Go. All right.
So for the next item,
Yes.
since Mika's here, I'm just gonna ask Mika to clarify, because we put election of officers on here, and then I had a revelation that we only did this last January, and they've always been 2-year commitments. So I wanted to clarify that we're sort of changing to a 1-year commitment. We were actually, because I brought this up to Kathy before the meeting, we were actually gonna table it to find out, but since you're here, maybe you can explain.
And we got
In
the
the charter,
memo.
it indicates on the commissions, it's an annual basis.
It is an annual.
So,
Okay. It's
So-
always been 2 for us, and so
I didn't read specifically the chart or the specifics as it relates to
Human
human
services?
services, so
Okay.
there are some times where specific commissions are different, but I know that generally speaking, in talking to the folks I did, it was an annual basis.
So if we do this tonight, this is where and then I look at the charge.
The commission, or the charter, excuse me.
Right, then should we still table it and look at it, or should we just go ahead and do our election? Because we're fine either way.
But if you table it until I get a chance to look at it, then I think I can find it by the time you're done.
Perfect, even
But
better.
I might have it right here.
Okay?
Or not.
You mean, you can
may
look up,
continue to
I do have the
I'll keep
articles
looking.
here.
Yeah, I think it was in the articles, I don't think it was in the charter,
Right, I'll let you can come back to that.
which is where we, read all that other stuff that
Yes.
before, right. But I don't have that with me. Okay.
Okay, so we'll go on to the POCD update, and Jeanette and I met with the two representatives of the
SLR.
SLR, the consultants, and I think it went very well. We came, well prepared with the information that, we all as a commission had approved, and many of us had written pieces of, and Jeanette and I put together, with lots of input from Christy and from Nancy as well. And I think that we had very little homework to do,
Yep.
because we had really worked ahead of time.
The only thing that he asked us for was any grants that we plan to write, because they add the grants into the POCD to help. When we go to apply for a grant, they'll often say, well, was that part of your POCD? And we can say yes. And so, it's a limited number of grants that we regularly apply for. And so I have to send that to him. But I think he implied that he had very little for us to do because we had already gotten ahead of the curve. So we felt good about it.
And the format was a little changed. I think the categories or the sections or chapters were a little less, but broader in my reading. And so we'll share those with you. But what we had prepared fit into these, broader categories.
Yeah, I think he really understood also, he being Robert Collins. What he understood was that it seemed like human services, parts of human services had been mentioned in various areas in the POCD before, but human services didn't exist. And so we want to make sure that, the umbrella that is human services and all the services that we provide, whether it's senior services or youth services or social services, that's sort of a unit in there, so that it gets, part of our plan, part of our town services that we provide. Yeah.
And I'll look to you, Pat. You're our representative on the technical advisory committee. Did your walk get postponed?
Again.
Again? Yes.
Yeah, it's,
That was today.
which was too bad. It was postponed a month ago and rescheduled, and then the snowstorm, they think it was probably not safe to take a lot of us out there because we're so old. Not that
That's the way I felt that.
So anyway, so we didn't go, and as of coming over here, I had not gotten a reschedule. So as soon as I do, I'll let you know. But that's the next step, is to actually go and see what we're talking about, and get some feedback. But it's been interesting just having all the people that are involved in this thing sitting around a table. The breadth of what's going on is quite interesting. So, but I don't have anything to report. I was hoping we'd have a sort of a fun report this evening, but not to be.
All right, hopefully next month. I did attend as a resident at the CCW open house last week, it was very crowded. And another opportunity to see what they have gathered from the first survey. I think there's a second survey coming, and there may be another survey after, as I spoke to some of the consultants. So I just hope that residents don't get survey tired, that they see that, you know, every bit of information is building, you know, as they go forward. I saw a few of some of the plans that fit in with our POCD, and, you know, embedded in some of the pieces. But it was very crowded when I was there. I don't know if anyone else.
I went to the first one. Was the second one very similar to the first one?
It was a similar format, but there was more information.
Okay.
That I can see that they're culling more. And Mika might be able to add.
Well, the first one was that for the POCD. This one was specific to
That's
the country club.
That's
But similar, as you said, Kathy, very much, it's very similar format and just more stations and more detail with regard to the stations. As far as the surveys are concerned, each time what they're doing is they're kind of taking the input that we receive and refining the survey so as to include only those things that seem to be pertinent going forward. So it's not necessarily the same. You may have taken the survey, go in there in 2 weeks, and you'll see that there are some different things to consider. So, as time goes on. And in answer to your question on the election, it is 2 years.
Here.
Yes.
So what do we do?
You don't have to take an election.
All right, we would like to elect one position we've never had before, and that is second secretary. Because we were thinking that when you can't,
Yeah, alternate.
we would have an alternate, and I think Kathy found a volunteer. Do you want to talk about that?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Erin to be our alternate secretary. And it'll be a rare occasion that Viviana is away or
away,
yeah,
yeah.
right. And we don't have to pull her
Traveling
out
for
of bed.
enjoyment.
Yes.
And Erin, that is still something we're willing to do.
Yes. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that is biting to do that? It is an open position, and I want to make
I'm ready to climb under the table.
I'm moving to close the
Right.
nominations.
I can tell you on the commissions it's a challenge to get one.
Yes.
We're very lucky.
Yes, and so I'd like to make a motion then to add a new position to our slate as, should we call it alternate secretary? That's it. And can I have a second?
Second.
And I saw Pat. Yeah. I kind of saw Artie too, but I'm going to put Pat down. And all in favor?
Aye.
So Kathy, you made the motion?
I made the
Pat
motion and
seconded?
Pat seconded.
Second.
Okay. And you're calling it alternate?
Alternate. All right.
Was that a motion to create the position?
Yes.
And now you're going to do another motion to
Okay.
vote in Erin?
Sounds like a good idea.
Oh, okay, just
All
checking.
right. So the second motion is to elect Erin as our alternate secretary for a 2-year term. And I'll make that motion. And hey, Arnie got in there. Okay,
Wait.
second.
Can I,
2 years.
can I just,
2 years.
can I just,
Just one.
to
Six.
finish with all of our other
With our term.
terms?
To be in sync with our terms.
Right, you can get reelected, but we're just gonna put you in so that we have one election for the whole
So she's
slate.
elected for a 1-year term.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
To bridge the gap.
I know you wanted 2 years.
That's really okay.
We can make it 6.
All right, so for that corrected second, all in favor? Oh, no, did I have a second? I'll put that
Arnie
one.
was a
second.
second.
Arnie was a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, good. Any old business? Any new business?
Mika, do you wanna?
I just wanted to ask in regards to the town hall plans as far as converging some of the departments. I don't know if there's any discussion on that, and if there's any questions on that, or if there's anything.
We were waiting for your lead on that.
Mhm.
Kathy and I have discussed like holding off. It's been
Mhm.
mentioned here in the past, but not as let's, work on this or talk about this. What Nika's talking about is the concept of a community services department that would encompass human services and recreation and youth services and senior services together.
Under a single umbrella, so to speak.
Yeah, the umbrella just got bigger. Because we already are an umbrella, but now we're going to encompass, and that would mean a process where Mika would lead us, and Tony would lead us into figuring out how that's going to work in terms of staffing and responsibilities, as well as commissions and all that levels of stuff. I've done some research, and I've continued. I mentioned earlier, you weren't here, but I was in conversation with Mary McNillis from Seymour today about a couple of things, and we talked. She's a community services director there, and I did some outreach to Stacy Johnson, who's Orange's community services director, just picking brains and learning a little bit more about how things work, because what we're looking for is, maybe Mika's not looking for, but not necessarily to save money, but to become more efficient and to do things so that we better serve the community. And maybe along the way that saves some money, but I can't.
Well, we touched upon it even in the youth services report tonight. Which programs are working, which aren't, which may work better under a different umbrella. And I think that we have talked about it before. I think that we would embrace the challenge of figuring out how to help you make that happen.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Right.
And from our perspective, it is also an opportunity for us to see if we can improve or increase programs without increasing staff and costs associated with that. Recreation is without a doubt, because of their part-time help, our largest employer, believe it or not, in terms of the number of employees who work there. In my very candid way of thinking of things, I see what happens here from a staff perspective, and sometimes I see what happens there, and there seems to be a disparity in terms of the level of engagement with the different resources that we have. And this will also afford us hopefully an opportunity to kind of balance that out a little bit. So if there's some opportunity in recreation that you can take, that human service can take advantage of, fantastic. But we also have two people, for example, great example, in my opinion, is we have two people in recreation who are doing online type work, putting things online, developing programs and things of that nature. You also have one. So that's three people in our town doing programs that, and they're on the part of recreation, it's two part-timers. So we don't pay for benefits and things of that nature. In your case, I believe it's a full-timer who's doing other stuff and just happens to be doing this as well, for your online, Facebook, things of that nature. I know you're doing it.
Well, I do town Facebook, but Nancy and Lainey do youth services Facebook. Ellen was doing the website updates. We have a part-timer down here doing updates as well for Facebook. So yes, but what I look at it as, now I'm sitting here with someone who's working way too many hours, and I have a few things on my plate as well, and I've got 2.5 staffers not here. I look at it as a new pool that if we're short and we become one, then we can share resources
Pull
that
people from one to the other.
right, and cross-train, because we're an aging staff with no bench, and we need to be able to have that reach where we can still perform the tasks necessary to serve the community, but not at an overwhelming sense, because after a few months this is getting a little overwhelming. So we want to have that opportunity. It's
And I see it as a win for us for that reason, but I see it as a win for residents, because perhaps there's one system to sign up for activities for families.
right.
And
Just
that's
easy.
a
And I think
ease. And there's data from one source. to take a look at what's growing, what isn't, what the shifts are. So,
We initially considered adding library to community services as well, but then felt that if you look at the actual programming, the overlap isn't as significant and/or as concise as it is between rec and human services, so.
Or rec and youth services
Exactly.
specifically.
Particularly,
But,
yes.
yeah, there's
So-
some other ways we could help each other.
But also, just from an adult services standpoint, we run a pretty good pickleball league. You know what I mean? And rec keeps trying, and it's kind of puts and stop. Go and stop and go and stop. So that type of thing.
And we don't wanna have
expertise.
two policies.
Correct.
We're charging a fee, not charging a fee. We want everybody to be treated the same, and resident is a resident, a non-resident, and age should not come into that policy. So, yeah, absolutely.
We've been talking about it for quite some time. I know it was when I
I
was on the
remember
Board of Selectmen.
2019, Sandy Stein brought it
Sandy
up.
Stein brought it, and so I think it's just, and we're looking just from a timing perspective, and, we're looking to do it, before the summer, if you will, or in that time frame. So it's, that's why I felt it was important to come in and at least mention it now, because we'll start moving a little more forward. What we haven't done this year, and it was just because it kind of caught us off guard, for lack of a better way to put it, we wanted to do something with the budget as well, but it just became too cumbersome to try to combine the budgets right now without already having a structure as to what we're going to do. So we're going to leave the budget separate the way they are, and then we're going to see about overlapping and combining and see what we can do there, and then see how the budget works out from that perspective.
Mika, do you have, I know this is probably, it's too early to answer this question, but how the commissions would mesh?
Well, that's a big question that both commissions have asked, and no, in answer to your question, I don't have a sense for that. I do have a sense that it can't be a combination of both commissions. It's just too unwieldy. I believe there's like 9 people on.
Yes,
we have none.
I think
You have 9, and I believe there's like 9 on recreation as well, or 8 or 9 at least. So it's
7 or 9
17,
maybe, yeah.
You're talking maybe a commission of 10, and that I'm actually looking to you folks to assist with that in terms of how best we can do that. And should we, if we feel the resources we have are of the caliber of value that they are, then is there something else should we be looking at a subcommittee of, using all those resources that are very familiar with this to, formulate a steering committee or something that gets this thing going. And the other reason that this is being driven is because at some point in time, we're gonna have a community center, community and cultural center. I'm of the very strong opinion that if you don't have somebody who's really spearheading an effort to make sure the programs are there, it becomes a space, like the library or like upstairs or something along those lines. And it's an opportunity for us to do so much more with that. So if we can identify a resource whose responsibility it is to make sure that that space is utilized and utilized as well as possible, that becomes very important. So in conjunction with that, we're trying to see what we can do. But from a commission, so you might have, a subset of the commissions that perform a particular function, while the others on the commission do exactly what you're doing right now from a program, and just exactly what you're doing right now. So, but for both.
Sounds a little unwieldy right now, but I know that it'll get wieldy.
It will, and it will need help and input from you folks to make sure we do it in a way that's productive.
Are there models out there for us to look
Yes.
at?
There's some towns, and
Yeah,
I mentioned a couple already.
yeah, but not in that
formative.
part, and
Yeah.
not in the budget part, but I think we have to live through some of this till we get there. I don't think it's gonna be a perfect world right away.
Tony's got some, Tony's reached out to some, and I've reached out to some folks, connections that I have through Scrog, et cetera, to see folks who have recently done this. Most of what we have right now is folks who have been doing this for quite some time. So they're already formed with that kind of a organization, and we're more interested in knowing, so how did you get there? You seem to be in a really good place, and that's great, but how long did it take you to get there, and did you do in order to find a way to get there? So it's a work in progress, but it's something that from a communication standpoint, we just felt is worth letting folks know and getting input as we can. So I'm gonna be pushing it hard as soon as the budget period from a, real, I shouldn't say this because we've got to do presentations and stuff. By April, the budget is really kind of done. We know what we're doing from a budget standpoint. And then we're in a position to really start focusing on this, which means, I'm looking June, July timeframe for us to make something happen and put a proposal in front of you folks so you can see what we're talking about. And we've gotten, department head inputs and we really have structure as to how it's gonna work. It's a lot easier to do it in corporate than it is to do it in.
Just tell them.
Exactly.
Well, thank you,
Thank
Rick.
you.
I'm so glad you were able to give us this input tonight, and give us.
Any questions or any concerns, please be open and feel free to ask. You don't have to do it now, but you know how to reach me.
Well,
So
I'll
please
put
do.
it on, my part of the agenda just to bring up, so we have a month to,
Please, that would be great, Kathy.
yes,
Thank you.
so
Thank you.
give you time, you can, of course, can always email us with any ideas that you have, but in your world, you may see, a model that could work, or some ideas, and so we'll put it on an agenda item going forward. All right, anything else? That was important new business. So I'll make a motion at 8:06 to adjourn.
Second.
Pat, second. And passes by acclamation. And watch your step.